what people don't realize is what's giving Bitcoin, for example, its value is consensus. This is Elizabeth Warren thinking that thinks, oh, there is this corrupt body of some people behind Bitcoin. No, it's the consensus of everyday people that's giving Bitcoin value. So
I'm giving away $100 in every episode. All you need to do is to comment your favorite part of the episode along with your Twitter account, hit the like button, and the winner will be picked up every single week.
I feel like Mr. Boom.
So today we have a project, and finally it's out of the day-to-day what we hear. It's something which is with the narrative, and there is big demand, which is Deepen. And they basically, why we talk? Keyvan, how are you?
hello, Elja. How are
You're
you?
the first one in the room with Eljaboom now, where you are not physically here.
Yeah. Yes, I wish I was. I'm currently in sunny Toronto.
That's great. Now we want to start and ask, who's Keyvan? Tell us more about Keyvan, your background, how did you start, etc.
Sure, definitely. So Keyvan is, as you can see, this person sitting here who was an AI student in Southampton, UK back in 2012. And at that point, I was in my 20s and I was fascinated with like everyone my generation, with robots and sci-fi. So I chose AI as the topic of my postgraduate studies. I went to Southampton to study it formally, got my master's there. And right after the master's finished, I was like, what can I do here in the UK?
So you studied your bachelor degree in UK?
My master's
And
degree
the bachelor?
in the UK, yes. Bachelor back in Iran. So I've grown up in Iran and then left for my studies and my journey around the world and when I was 21.
So I call you Azizi Keyvan.
Yeah. Habibi Elja, yeah.
So you're doing your master degree in UK.
Yeah.
And what did you study?
Yeah. Artificial
okay.
intelligence, the topic of the day.
Okay.
Back in 2010, this was,
And then, so you graduated? You were married back in the days or not yet?
No, so I graduated in 2012 and I started looking for jobs. And it's funny that AI currently has this hype around it. Back then, it was like a taboo. Like, oh, this is the weird computer guy who's doing AI. What's his deal? He's just a geek. He doesn't understand anything. So the jobs in the UK where you could go work, like the formal jobs back then, was you could go work for a hedge fund. That was the most prestigious AI job in the UK back in the day. You can go make money for the rich class to make them richer.
That's true. I mean, I also had my master degree in AI. At least the way I solved it was using AI. And back in the days, it was so much gibberish that you couldn't believe or understand what I'm saying. Yet now it's becoming the hype. So anyways, you graduated, right? And then you start working.
Yeah.
Tell us like this journey before you come to Web3. We don't want to just jump. We want to know who's Keyvan.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So my bachelor's was in software. My master's was in AI, and I was like a computer geek. So like you're very poster child of this guy is hypnotized by computers. That was me.
I was hacked. I was hacked 4 days ago. Was it you or someone else?
Right. Yeah, no, I was the person hacking people back in 2005 on Yahoo Messenger. So there was Yahoo Messenger, and it was funny. The stupid government of Iran started to put censorship back then, like it was just coming to life. And people wanted to get on board the Yahoo Messenger back then, and I would attach this virus to this like anti-filter software and send to my friends, like my family members, right? And they would spread it to like that was just for the fun of it, right? But then as a joke and as an actual anti-filter, so they can go aboard Yahoo Messenger. But I would have gotten access to their Yahoo logins, and that got me in trouble back then because I got access to this account from this person who was running a mosque and was connected to the government. And we were like, we have secrets here. You shouldn't have had access to this. I was like, I'm just a child. I'm 15 years old. Don't hurt me.
As long as it passed well, that's the great part.
It did.
So
Yeah.
I was actually bluffing when I said that, but of course, I mean, back in the days we were trying to play with malware, things like that, for the sake of lol with friends and etc. And DDoSing, and when DDoSing was
Right.
like, oh, what was like when you were able to DDoS, we
Yeah,
were like
yeah.
a king back in the days. So
Yeah. Deface was the big thing. So if you could edit index.html and change the web main page, and it was really easy. You had like this thing, that cPanel. You would just, if you somehow could log in, you could just replace this file, and you would be say like, this site is hacked by Elja, and
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
would say like,
Let's
oh,
go.
Elja is a god. He.
I would hack Binance website
Deface.
and shell our projects, right? So
Right.
so now so you graduated, and then what did you work?
Yeah. Yeah. So I graduated and I didn't want the boring hedge fund jobs. So I searched for something that I read through my graduate studies that grabbed my attention. It was something called strong AI, an argument by this AI scientist called John Searle. And strong AI was the idea of an AI that can actually understand what it's talking about. And to this day, we still don't have it. So an AI that doesn't hallucinate, doesn't actually understands what it's talking about, as opposed to just generating gibberish, right? So strong AI was my lead. Like, I want a job in strong AI, and that didn't exist. All AI jobs were banking jobs. So I just found one place on Earth that had an advert for a job on strong AI, and it was in Hong Kong by a guy named Ben Goertzel, who had this job on the topic of strong AI in a research lab
You
in
mean
Hong
Ben,
Kong.
Ben, right? Dr.
So
Ben.
I booked it.
Oh, okay.
Ben Goertzel, yes, Dr. Ben Goertzel. Yeah, so back then he was. I came upon like one or two YouTube videos from him just by researching my like master's
With
thesis
Joe
and
Rogan?
stuff. But
Or
then
before?
I found this
With
guy.
Joe Rogan
Huh?
or before that?
No. This is like way before anything. Like it was like Ben back in 2012. They had this community of like. So back in I think early 2000s, Ben worked with a group who coined the word AGI. So, as I said, I was looking for a concept of AI that understands. So, Ben and a couple of people who he worked with at the time, the community, as he says it himself, he commissioned the name of, we need a proper name for an AI that understands what it's talking about, as opposed to just be generating bullshit. And they called it AGI. So essentially, Ben coined the term of AGI by collaborating with others.
That was before
And,
crypto, even, right? Before even they make
That's
Singularity.
Yes. So, well, I mean, crypto was in the 2008 crash. This AGI coining of AGI is before that. Yes.
Okay. Because, I mean, you met Ben, where the picture that you carried him. You lost a lot from that time, so
Yeah.
congrats.
Right.
And
Yes.
it was back in when it was like Hans Robotic, or
So that picture of me and Ben is back in 2012. So this is the time that I was working in Ben's lab in Hong Kong. So we were the only lab in the world back then in 2012 who was doing directly AGI. So we were building a world in Minecraft with agents that like go in the world that the team built. So Lake, a friend I had there, was building with Unity 3D the world, and we were in charge of programming the agents so they can explore this virtual world. And it looked like really like Minecraft,
so it was
the world.
like almost a metaverse, right?
It was exactly like what became later a metaverse. But the goal that Ben had in mind was back then we wanted to make AGI in steps. So before jumping to like a very knowledgeable, grown-up adult AI, back then we wanted to make a toddler AI. So like a cartoon character that wanders around the world and like follows so you had with your keyboard you could control this other character and you would be like this AI's mom,
Oh,
and the AI would like come after you, and because it was a robot, it would feel unsafe when its battery would die, and he would like just crawl back to the house so it can recharge. So it was what's missing from today's AI is what we were working on back then, like the concept formation, like understanding the world around you. So we simplified the world for AI. So it was a game world. It was not a real world, which is very dynamic and very. So to this day, companies like Tesla are still struggling with like self-driving cars because the world is very complex. It seems simple, but this place is weird.
true. And the variables changed a lot, and changes without even enough information to be synchronized. Like it just changes
Yes.
based on every mayor or every governance, right? But
Based on the degree that the sun shines on us,
That's
so
right.
the entropy that sun generates on us is weird and amazing. It's
That's
called
right.
life.
so now you graduated and you start working in the UK, but
Yeah.
then
Now in Hong Kong
Okay,
after
so you went from
UK.
Hong
So
Kong?
I graduated in UK. I went to Hong Kong and started working with Ben as a researcher. So we were doing research and development. So me and a team of, I think back then we were like about 20 people in OpenCog's Polytechnic University. That was where Ben's lab was.
so you
We
were
were working on AGI.
You were working with Dr. Ben in Hong Kong for how many years?
Yes, as an employee. So I was like as a project associate for the OpenCog project. Yes.
Was he
for
paying
2
well
years.
or not?
Back then he wasn't paying that much because he didn't have that much as well. Like but he would absolutely compensate us to the best of, like no one suffered.
Dr. Ben is one of the I believe he doesn't really care about the money. He doesn't see it as a value. Yeah.
It absolutely doesn't. Money for him and for any sane person is a means to achieving benefits for exactly a tool for achieving better life for the collective humans, not for a single person.
That's true. Because the rest, no, they see it for themselves, right? And it's no longer becoming a tool for them; it's becoming an objective, and that's the biggest problem because the objective will never end, right?
Yes.
So you worked with Dr. Ben for
Yes.
2 years in Hong Kong as what?
Yeah.
What was your title?
Yeah.
R&D.
Project associate of OpenCog
Okay.
project.
And
Yeah.
after 2 years, what happened?
After 2 years, completely honest, I got bored of pure research because back then, like we like as the AI graduates and people who are familiar with the strong AI, we knew the projections. So like there was this book by Ray Kurzweil that's on a topic called singularity. The singularity is near. So there is this formalization of how late stage capitalism will transform to the next era. How we go from modern era that is today to the next era where the key invention that will get us to the next era is AGI, right? So there is formal models and like 100 versions of predictions of how the world will get to that point and from that point onward. So that points exactly that AGI is discovered by humanity. Ray Kurzweil predicts it's around 2029. So we have 5 years if he's right, if he's correct. And then he says, like, then we will have a concept called intelligence explosion, meaning the AI will start programming its own code and gets better and
now.
better. So it is. So the AI programming is like a freshman first semester programmer. That's the capability of AI. So it cannot theorize yet.
It requires a lot of R&D, a lot of LLM training.
It can do labor.
Exactly.
It can do repetitive tasks, but it will get there. Sure. So it will get to a place when it gets to, and that's the distinction. So we are in the Gen AI, but Gen AI is less than AGI. Gen AI doesn't have human level
That's true.
intelligence.
And it's centralized, I think.
Yeah.
That's why ASI, which is artificial super intelligence now, which is the combination of the three companies,
Yeah.
they are trying to
Yeah.
be sure
Yeah.
there will be a competitor in the decentralized world, right? Where no one can sell your
Yeah.
data without your
Yeah.
acceptance, right? Now,
Yeah. And it's funny that you brought centralization up, because centralization is the curse of current Gen AI. So people who working on the forefront of Gen AI, like OpenAI, as not the scientists inside inside OpenAI, they are great mind. They are amazing scientists, but the management, the way they think about the world is very capitalism like, right? They think, oh, we want to productize this, bring in users and sell to businesses.
good
That's their
mindset, right? True.
objective, right? It's not like beneficial AI creation is nothing
Unfortunately,
near
capitalism
their
will always
objectives.
remain, right? That's why we're trying to fight it some way or another.
Yeah, and but what I'm saying is it's also they're doomed because they are not progressing, because the key to realizing AGI is to incorporate human knowledge from everywhere in the world and not centralizing it. So if you centralize it, you get stupid AI as opposed to
True.
artificial general
100%.
intelligence.
It's a long topic, and we will see what's gonna happen in the future, right? So you left after
Right,
2 years
right.
because you got bored of doing the R&D work.
Pure research and pure research without any price. So today, I'm guessing if someone is an AI researcher today, that's like a superhero job. But back then, it was very
That's true,
boring
I
and
agree.
lonely and not fun for a
Yes.
20 something year old person.
That's actually good here. So after 2 years, you left Hong Kong. You went back to where?
Back to Iran. So what I did was like, oh, I want to explore this other aspect of myself. What if I have a Steve Jobs inside me that I can unleash? And my thinking was, oh, if I go back to Iran, because I'm this
Scientist.
graduate from UK, the scientist, I will have unfair advantage. That was the child in me thinking that those unfair advantages would give me like privilege. So I will have a privilege that people have in Valley, I will have in Iran because I'm a celebrity, essentially.
If you were a dancer,
And
yes.
it would. The answer was no. The answer was yes. People will talk to you and say, "Oh, you're this scientist coming from abroad. Oh, you studied in UK, but here's the broom. Go and fucking just brush the toilet with it." So
Unfortunate, but hopefully things will change by time. So you went back to Iran, you got shocked, and then you decided to continue, or you moved?
no, so I didn't get shocked. I started working on things that weren't as exciting as AGI. So because Iran back then, again, this is like 2012, was just on the starting of onboarding SaaS, software as a service. So they had websites. They started to know what the website does. Oh, we can do inventory management with website. Oh, this is called software as a service. So I became a website developer.
What?
For a while.
Website
And then,
developer?
Yes, from AGI scientist, I downgraded to a
That's not
website
downgrade.
developer
That's
for a while. That's I mean from my perspective, this is like young Keyvan that would see competition and see some work worthy, some work below him and like underneath, because that's when you're young, how your worldview is. I should do something important. I want my Steve Jobs to flourish, but that's just stupid.
So you worked for how many years?
So for 5 years, 6 years, I worked in Iran,
shit.
and I went through the ranks. So from the garage in my dad's house, I went to like work on like a startup studio, overseeing 10 startups at the time. Then from there, I went to supervise the AI team of the biggest airline in Iran, and it was funny because it was coincidental with they not having any software. So you don't believe this. It's also like happening here in Canada as well. But airlines are ran by Excel. So the backend for many big businesses that you see around the world is to this day Excel. And at the day of AGI and Gen AI progressing towards AGI, what are people using? Excel to this day. So yeah.
To be honest,
so
I can't believe it.
At
I
my
can't believe
later
it still
days.
today whose people are using. Like till now, again, in my kind of opinion, all Microsoft tools are really outdated. All, even use. I get
Yeah.
surprised when people are using as a company the fucking shitty old mails, that mailbox. I don't know what the fuck it's called. You remember? When I see that, and you need to connect to a good server, or you need to subscribe to their 365, it doesn't make any sense. It keeps crashing every 5 minutes. You send an email, it doesn't send. You go back to the junk and keep sending again. Like, what the fuck we are doing? Like, we passed this all this shit.
But and it's funny. Like Microsoft and Microsoft specifically is a company that puts shells around other people's ideas. So it buys the IP of OpenAI, then creates a layer around it and calls it Copilot, right? It's nothing has been invented in Microsoft, even Excel. So Excel spreadsheets were invented long before, like it was like a method of accounting. People would do it with hand, and then the UI for the first user interfaces were founded in Xerox. Like the company Xerox had the first versions of GUI and spreadsheet software. And someone like Bill Gates was like a genius businessman who would say, I can sell that. Sell me this pen. Give me to sell it to people.
So you spent now 6 years in Iran, right? And then I want to know your journey to Web3 and where you started doing Functionland.
Sure.
And what is Functionland?
Sure, definitely. So the 6 years in Iran saw the degradation of and like collective hallucination of the government in Iran. Like, oh, we want to be a superpower in the world, but you're just like the rest of us. Just get in line. We want to live together. But what happened to the people of my country was that they started, as Do Kwon would say, becoming poorer and poorer. So the Iranian currency is like a absolute shitcoin. So the Iranian rial is, instead of having like a pump like trajectory, it's like complete dump for the past 10 years. And again, for me and many of my generation, so I think 80 million people live in Iran. So more than 8 million are living abroad. And during a survey that they took from Iranians inside, 80% of them want to live, want to leave the country and come and live outside. Yeah. So that's as I said, this is later stage capitalism. So the Iranians may claim they are not capitalists. The Chinese may claim they are not capitalists. Everyone is capitalists, and capitalism is due for an upgrade. So with AGI, there's going to be a newer version of capitalism that captures the benefits of capitalism and adds to it. And back to your points, Elja, I think that movement that gets us there is crypto.
I do agree to an extent, again, because also crypto is being at some level manipulated, which is called the governance.
Wow.
You know. So let's not go there now, but at least it's better than the current system. So anyways, you left now Iran and you went to Canada?
I immigrated to Canada. I started with another company. So I came here on startup visa. It wasn't straight to Functionland. I came here with a startup called Assister.ai. So what I had in mind was exactly what OpenAI also in parallel was working on. It became ChatGPT. So I was working back then. This is what, 2018? Yeah, this is 2018. I was working on GAN and generative adversarial networks and the foundations of what later became LLMs, right? So that was my personal research, and my startup was, how can we create, it wasn't named LLM back then, how can we make generative AI in web pages so you can have language capabilities not in a chat interface, but in web pages. So that was the subject of my competing interest with what became ChatGPT was give it to people as opposed to centralize it in yourself. But since we are still in a centralized world, it's easier to centralize something as long as you're part of the mafia. So if you're living in San Fran and you know the big heads, it's not really. It's just a matter of for how many years you can entrap scientists in a building, and because they are scientists, they're very amazing brains. They will produce something. So that's what OpenAI did. They entrapped AI scientists, great minds, for 7 years, and they came up with ChatGPT,
which is again taking the data from people and monetizing it. So you worked there, and then
Yes.
you went to Functionland. Okay,
Yes.
tell us now.
So it was I worked on a sister AI for a couple of years, but the investors that I got in Canada was like the CEO of RBC, Royal Bank of Canada, like, and they would say, and I would say, oh, we want to create some user interface for AI, and they said, okay, define user interface and define AI. So that went nowhere. So I didn't have the resources that people had in San Fran. So that went to nowhere as Sister AI. I sold it to my partner, and he's like a professor in one of the universities here in Toronto. And I met Ehsan, my co-founder.
Yes.
So I met Ehsan.
About Ehsan, so we can jump about Functionland.
Sure. So Ehsan is this very creative boy who's from the same city that I was born in, and he's like 3 years older than me.
City?
But we never met in our lives. It's Isfahan. It's one of the cities in Iran.
They have good food in Isfahan.
So we were both born in Isfahan.
They have good food in Isfahan.
They do. They have something called biryani that is you probably heard of. They have good.
I've ate it.
Yeah. But it's a different biryani than the other the Indian biryani. It's like with but good food in Isfahan. Yes.
So you were from the same city and you've never met him. How did you meet him? Now.
I met him here in Toronto. So here in Toronto, I was again after a sister working on some government grants, like working with universities. So this is as a builder, you're constantly looking for hooks to work with people. So as a builder, you don't want to control anyone or get anyone to work for you. You want to work yourself. You want to go and get devices and solder stuff, and that's your internal call. So I went to get a government grant for building resumes that are machine learning enabled. And that was the introduction of me and Ehsan. So Ehsan was like, I want to work on this too. And we teamed up. And that became the foundation of what later became Functionland.
So Ehsan also is tech.
Yes, Ehsan is like a senior developer, an electrical engineer. He studied in Boulder in the US. And then he moved to Canada, and here he's been like a developer of like big companies here. He worked for L'Oreal and a number of other enterprises before Functionland, and he's run several startups as well.
So before we go to Functionland, how old are you? How old is Ehsan?
So I'm 35. Ehsan is 30. I'm still. I'm born in 1988, and Ehsan is 39ish, I think.
What? Ehsan what? 39?
39, really? I think it's 39 or 40.
Now you're fudding Ehsan. Ehsan gonna answer you like this later. I'm 29.
Maybe he doesn't like this exact age to be exposed. I don't know. He doesn't mind. I don't actually know the exact number. Like I know mine is 1988. Ehsan's let me translate it. Like yes, Ehsan. I know Ehsan is what 4 years older.
So
than
it's
me,
1984.
So he should be 1984.
I'm 1984 also.
Yeah, probably. So you're same age as Ehsan.
But I look young. Yes, and has white hair.
You both of you look very sexy and
I love
desirable.
Is a very good guy as well. so now let's jump now. What is Functionland?
Yeah, sure. So Functionland is the culmination of our me and Ehsan's cry of we're feeling angry about how the big tech is handling our lives for us. So we both of us were savvy users of Google services because it's funny, Elja. You look at Google today, and they are this big corporate company that want to sell. It's like you watch the series Mad Men, that they have like account executives and they want to sell stuff to you, right? So that's what Google does today. So I went to Toronto's Google headquarters, and they want to sell stuff to me, to a startup, right? So they are salesmen now. But back in 2010, they were the cool guys. So back in 2010, Google wasn't this corporate, like with the suits company. They were the cool guys who wanted to.
You need to start turning the company to revenues.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, they removed "Don't be evil" from their manifesto. They want to be evil now, and so but what they have is, unfortunately, some of the foundations of our day to days. So because they arrived there first, they control the means of our life. So I've recently, I have a close to 2 years old son. And I'm capturing the memories of my son with my phone that I've paid for with my phone. And I want these photos to exist in the future, right? I want these photos to not go anywhere. I can provide space for them if needed. But current paradigm that the Googles of the world and the big techs of the world are going towards is like, give me all your data and I will turn you into a product. So Functionland was like, nah, we can do better. We are engineers, and we can be sovereign, and we can host our own data, and with like a good enough technology, everyone can do this. So as just like with Airbnb, people are now hotel owners, so they have personal hotels. Why cannot we be data owners with a hardware? So that was the core idea of Functionland. If we give servers to the users, will they have their own store of data that's easy to operate in their homes, and they won't need big tech to be their custodian?
So I'll repeat again. An easy way for retailer without now mentioning other companies, so no confusion. Today, you are utilizing the spaces in everyone current device where he can come to you, like I have my laptop, my computer, whatsoever. I come to you as a Functionland. I say, hey, hello. I want to be a crowd hosting, basically. It's like a crowd hosting, correct?
Yeah. Yes, it's like storage network, yes, at the moment. But we have other use cases. But yes, cloud. You can think of it as a cloud alternative.
I'm not saying cloud, I'm saying crowd. CRO. Yes.
Crowd. Yes, exactly. It's crowd storage. Yes.
Yes. So I'm just everyone giving a small
crowd
piece,
storage,
telling you, hey, hello, it's me. I want to get a space where you can utilize it and reward me with your token, right?
Yes.
Which is called?
Yes. With Fula token. FULA.
It's not launched yet, so people, nothing is launched
No,
yet.
yeah. No, but if anyone's selling Fula, that's a scammer.
For now, but look at the date, guys.
Yeah. Yes, soon it will be the actual Functionland network. But if someone's selling it today, it's still not launched.
So basically, he will get Fula, right? Fula in Arabic means beans, so full.
Yeah.
No full.
Cool.
So
yeah.
So basically, he gets rewarded as Fula for utilizing that, and he doesn't have any exposure to the data being stored inside, right? He doesn't have.
Yes.
No one has.
So
even Functionland.
Exactly.
Correct?
Because it's encrypted with your private keys that are connected to your wallet. So the only person in the world that can decipher your data is you with your keys on your wallet. So the same way that no one can access your Bitcoin in your hardware, like in your phone wallet, the same way that your data is stored on devices. And one important thing here, Elja, is we went the extra mile. So you mentioned that you can do it on your laptop, on your desktop. That's completely true. You can boot up a Functionland node on any device. but that's still, so we had to solve the user experience. So not everyone is keen on setting up servers and going to terminals and being a hacker. That's not everyone's dream. Many people don't like that life. So we went ahead and we created something that I show you. First, I will show it in sexy. Like,
this one, we have it the same, but
yeah,
this is perfume.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is not like a makeup device for women. This is your server. This is a complete server.
That looks very nice.
And this is, yes, and it's like it's modular, so you can have multiple of them. There's a form factor of this that it comes in like 9 towers next to each other, and this is it with the dress up, and this is, you can see it here. Let me show you an undressed version. Oh. This is what's inside.
But actually, as a product, it looks really nice.
Yes,
the packaging.
Well, because we the design, because we had a first version of this on Indiegogo, and it was an idea stage, and essentially it was Ehsan and mine thinking about how it should look like, and just trying to bootstrap it and like organically find a user base for it. But then we collaborated with Yves Bahar. So Yves Bahar is one of the top industrial designers of the world. We collaborated with him on designing the exterior of it. So this is the design of one of the very tasteful and very knowledgeable designers of our time.
And okay, first of all, congrats on the design. Really looks. What is his name? Ihsan Bihar. What is it?
Yves Bahar. So YVES Bahar.
I mean, the design
Yves
looks
Bahar.
really amazing. And now let me ask some technical questions here, or financial questions as well. How much each node?
Sure. So this is still not being mass produced at the scale that people are selling like cell phones and stuff, because those get the volume that you build, like say something like a Samsung phone is like in the millions. You make 1 million of them, and it costs much less. But let me actually check. I think it goes for the base version goes for $400 currently with our current volume. For $400 for 8 gigabytes of RAM and 1 terabyte of internal storage, like SSD. And then there's the 32 gigabytes RAM. So you don't have any device, like still to this day, you don't have a phone with 32 gigabytes of RAM. That version with 32 gigabytes of RAM and 2 terabytes of SSD, that one goes for $600.
Okay, so basically, just for the people who are not used to running nodes due to the difficulty, because most of the companies, unfortunately, the way they run nodes, you need to be a little bit tech navy so you can actually run the node, right? Here, you bought this for $600 or $400 one. It got shipped to you. Is it very easy steps to get it running?
Yes. So it ships to you in a package like this, and then what you do is that when you connect it with your USB-C power adapter that you already have, it lights up. It has like LED green lights here, and then you continue on your phone.
So there is an app.
So there's an app.
iOS
There's
and
an app
Android,
that you just both iOS and Android.
Perfect.
Yes, that you set it up. Yeah. And then with the wizard, you just do some next, and then you have a full node. And also we are doing partnerships to bring other ecosystems on because this is a very capable server. As I said, there's a version of it that has 32 gigabytes of RAM and a very capable CPU. And even it has a tensor processing unit inside it that can be used for AI applications. But for Functionland, Functionland is only focusing on the storage use case. And through partnerships, we're going to bring other use cases to the same app. So you just add nodes of different networks on your same device.
So now let me ask you a question. Again, humor me. I know it's not fully scalable and tested yet, but if someone bought the 400 one, when he going to get his initial investment back? Approximate.
What
time frame?
Well, I mean, since I cannot comment on I cannot legally comment on the returns of Functionlands like Fula token, because then they will
No.
put
I'm
me
not
on
talking
jail.
about. I'm not
Except
talking
we,
about.
when we,
Not talking about the volume. I'm not talking about the value of Fula. I'm talking about the value of. Let's say it's a stable coin. Just humor me. Let's say it was a stable coin, US dollar, for an example. It's a
Right.
stable coin,
Right.
not fluctuated, nothing, no volatility, nothing.
Right.
It requires me 2 months, 3 months, 5 months.
I mean, if it's through something like Ethereum staking, this is like a real scenario. If you're staking some ETH on it with something like Rocket Pool, which we already are in talks with to create a partnership to make that a reality, because I can talk about it. This is like an ETF, and it's like a free market thing. So within yes, if you stake something around 4 Ethereum on your device. Mind you, we still don't have the software there. We are working with Rocket Pool and
To
Ethereum
integrate,
ecosystem
yes.
to bring it here. But within 4 or 5 months of staking on your own hardware for ETH, it will pay for the 400 that you pay.
Okay. Now, I have 2 questions. Number 1, do you have competitors in Web3 industry who've tried the same thing and failed or working? And number 2, what makes you different than all of them if there were in? Number 3, are you targeting as well Web2 companies or Web2 individuals, or just fully Web3? So we have 3 questions. Number 1, did someone do the same? Did they fail? Yes or no? Tell me.
Yeah. So the answer to that is yes. People have been doing the same, but they are not competitors. They are friends. So there is this company called Pinata. That's the most famous one.
They are in Web3.
That's hosts. Yes, they are a IPFS hosting. So if you're an NFT owner, like collection owner, most likely you've worked with an IPFS host, an IPFS gateway. But these are still like they have payments. So you're paying for your NFT storage with your credit card, right? So as the artist who wants to take the NFT live, you're working with these with your credit card. There's Pinata and the rest that's our friends, but they are in the B2B aspect of it, whereas Functionland wants to target the B2C sector, the mobile app users, not the artists or like other businesses.
So basically, they are targeting B2B. Here you're targeting B2C, where you're targeting individuals, both in Web2 and Web3, or only Web3?
So currently we are targeting the Web3 enthusiasts, so people who are like comfortable with handling their own wallets, because that's the minimum requirement at this moment. So we have not yet arrived at the user experience with its completely similar to offerings of the old big tech companies. But we do have an alternative for photo services from Apple and Google. So Apple has Apple Photos, Google has Google Photos. We have something called FX Photos, which is a mobile app that you run on your phone, but it's backed up. Your photos are backed up on your server or on a server that you're renting from the network.
That's amazing. Now, what makes Functionland better than them, or it's not better?
As I said, it's in Web 2. So this way of framing things like competitor, are we better? This is Web 2 thinking. In Web 3, in the non-scam Web 3, I will repeat, non-scam Web 3, it's all about collaboration and integration. It's like how we synergize with other projects to give the best to our combined communities, as opposed to I'm competing with you, I want to destroy you. No, we wanna help each other to as communities of different projects to reach, and we serve different audiences. As I said, like Pinata serves businesses, Functionland's goal is to serve end users, and it will start with crypto native end users, and then refine the experience so we arrive at the grandmas. Hopefully,
I do agree with you that it's not really a competition as much as complementary to each other. As long as there is complementary, else there is a competition, and that's why you said he's running B2B, you're running B2C. So that's
Yeah.
complementary to the industry, right? Maybe not to each
Yeah.
other, maybe to the industry.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
what else does Functionland has? So now, okay, I can go buy the node. I put the node. Do I need later on to stake the tokens or not?
Yeah, so you get the node, and then you will share your storage on the Functionland network, and you get tokens for sharing your storage. So as soon as someone comes and starts using your storage, and we have in Functionland this concept of storage pools. Pools means that we are joining the storage on the devices of my server and my neighbor's server in a local area, in a city, and in a region. And then we create this storage pool. The model to think about it is like we're creating a WhatsApp group for anyone who can join and utilize this collective storage. And people who use this storage will pay us rent, and that rent is in term of the Fula token.
So you're saying, let's say, now of course electricity plays some role in this game. So if you're maybe in Iran,
Yes.
it's way cheaper than being in the US, right?
Yeah.
Now, can someone, let's say, verified by your company, by Functionland, a merchant, let's say, guys, I have the cheapest electricity. I'm living in, I don't know, in Mars, right? But I don't have the money to run,
Yeah.
to buy these nodes. Can he actually open a pool and
Sure.
people just buy nodes and they share the revenue based on the addresses? That's like cumulative or not?
Yeah. So the concept of pools give you one thing that's very important. It gives you speed, right? So, by the way, another question that we get is, are you a competitor to Filecoin? No, Filecoin is our lead investor.
Ah,
So
really?
we were born.
Filecoin
Yes.
invested with you.
So Filecoin,
Oh, that's amazing.
yes, Filecoin, the company behind Filecoin is called Protocol Labs. They are this lead investor of our
That's
seed
very
round.
nice.
Yes, because again, their section is B2B, and we are the champion of B2C in the Filecoin's ecosystem. So we are using the same underlying technology that is IPFS. We are reusing the effort of each other. We are not doing repeated work. We are building on top of the foundation that others have built. For encryption, when you asked earlier, like how do you handle encryption? There's this other company in the ecosystem that's created something called WNFS, and they handle encryption, and we reuse it and we build on top of it, and we get it all the way to a mobile app, and like a tokenomics for the peer-to-peer and storage.
What do you
pools
think
and
when
everything else with
quantum will start hitting?
Well, I
That's
mean, the
a
thing
big
is,
topic.
that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. But what people don't realize is what's giving Bitcoin, for example, its value, is consensus. It's not the algorithm. There is no God in this world that controls your individual action. Like there's no central control that's giving Bitcoin. So this is Elizabeth Warren thinking that thinks, oh, there is this corrupt body of some people behind Bitcoin. No, it's the consensus of everyday people that's giving Bitcoin value. So if there one day comes that there's like anything that can break the Bitcoin code, people will form consensus on something like with that technology. So if quantum computing comes, then it can give us better encryption. So the Bitcoin network will change its code from the old non-quantum code to quantum code, and people will agree and move on. So and by the way, this is mathematically like a huge computation that we are ways like our current today technology is still like ways behind it. But I'm saying even if it happens and the code breaks, the power is in the agreement between people. It's not in the code.
True. Actually, I'm happy we exercised this, so at least we knew about the Filecoin thingy, because that's a plus, in my opinion, and they see the value and the potential, right? So now, if I want to buy a bulk of nodes, which is the one you said there is already bulk of nodes, right? You can add them all using the same app. You don't need to go and like do a new account for each one, right?
Yeah. And you can place them in different places. So you can place one in your house one in your office, and you can have your own small network with. And as I said, with local pools, you get speed because you can, as you said, join. You're sitting in Dubai now, Elja, right? You can join a pool in Mars, or you can join a pool in China, but you don't get the
No, I don't
perfect
want to be in
speed.
China.
The perfect speed is well, I mean, if you want
Crypto
it,
too is hard.
but your server maybe, right? So if your server, if you have Elja has a server in his room in China, then the speed that Elja gets from his server in China is slow because it needs to travel around the world to reach Elja in Dubai. So what Functionland gives you is physical proximity to your data.
That's very nice. Do you think so? Basically, that's today meant for storaging, right? But do you think at any point can be made, let's say, for hosting servers?
Yeah. So I mean, again, this concept of hosting is evolving in Web3. So essentially, now you're getting with things like NFTs, you are getting like a deed. You're getting a proof of ownership for a digital content. So you don't necessarily need like www.elja.com to own digital content. You can have your digital content that you own provable in your crypto wallet, right? This is the shift that we're seeing with Web3. And yes, at this very moment, we have like an app that's still in development, but it's demonstrable. That's called FX Files, and you can host your files in your own server. So it's very much like Dropbox and OneDrive, but instead of them going to Microsoft servers, they go to your
which
own
is
device.
again encrypted, and no one has access
Encrypted.
to the code.
Even if someone physically steals my server, so someone like someone comes and steal this, when they open the hard disk, they will see zeros and ones that mean nothing without my
So
private.
you can also make this at some point like a hard wallet.
Yes, like hardware wallet is an application for the Functionland network. So as soon as and that's the goal for next year, to start hackathons in collaboration with Filecoin for B2C apps that are on the IPFS ecosystem, essentially on Functionland's.
I mean, the first thing
token.
you need to make
And
the
then-
device way smaller so it can be like a hardware wallet, to make it basically a size of this, for an example. It would be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. So it can be different
Of course,
variations.
I mean,
of
you
it.
don't
So,
need to have.
now that you brought it up, it actually works with these expansion cards. So these go inside.
That's a memory.
right? And these are that's right now. This is actually a USB-C port. So this gives you a USB-C port, and there's gonna be different versions of it. So this one gives you an HDMI port. This other one gives you a display port. There's all kinds of versions of it. This one gives you a SD card, right? So these expansion cards are actually not made by us. These are made by a San Francisco company called Framework, and they make a modular laptop. And we collaborated with them to implement their technology. So when you say small hard wallet, you can some other company may come and create an expansion card that is your hard wallet, and you pocket this and go to your other place and just plug it to your server. Like this.
See, to be honest, that's what I like about Web3. And to be honest, like I always say, people are too much busy now chasing the next 1,000, which is meme tokens, which is fine. Of course, everyone has the right. I love meme tokens, right? But to see people like you, like Ihsan, like your product, it's something healthy. And I advise everyone to look at every project that has quality. I'm not saying to invest, to at least learn. Knowledge is for free. It's the only thing gonna cost you an hour to watch something or to understand. This is something you should do it. But the problem, don't be busy doing just shit coins every day and missing the chance of at least learning. It means you really don't like yourself, because money will come and go. We've seen it with so many people. We've seen many people lost it as well. But if you don't have the knowledge, you will never be able to make this money again, maybe you were lucky. It doesn't mean you're going to be every time lucky. And sometimes you need knowledge to learn hard to increase your probability to become lucky again, because knowledge would require time and education, right? Especially now, some people are doing it like you, trying to do something good in the world, trying to empower the individuals, which is not no longer the big companies and big gurus, and yet using the deep end, where you're also doing a shared economy, which anyone can join a pool, make money, can become a host for the nodes, will make money. Everyone participate into that, right?
Back to what we said earlier, that money for a sane person, money is a tool. It's not the end goal. So you want money to take your pictures of your loved ones and store them. That's the utility of it. It's not the end goal. You don't want a number to just grow for no reason. There should be a reason.
Keyvan, we almost passed an hour. Thank you for being here and also become one of the first online guests in the room of Eljaboom, because it doesn't mean you need to be physically here. It means you need to follow the rules, which is nothing is prepared, no question and answers. Either you come and show your muscles to people and know what you're saying, either this room is not for you, including myself as well. Thank you very much, Keyvan. Hopefully to see Functionland. I will buy a device for sure. I'm going to buy a node. Not because I'm really into running the nodes. I'm really into the design. I like it as well. So that's the first actually. The first thing made me. That's the first thing made me actually want to get one. And of course, running it will be the secondary part. But the design is really good, and the guy who was behind it is very smart as well. Thank you, Keyvan, and hopefully to see you very soon. And soon as well, we're going to host Ihsan to know more about him.
Thank you so much for having me, Elja.
It's not just a room.
It's the room of the Eljaboom.
Let's go.
Yay!
I don't want your kitty, I'm just trying to play with Moon. We could hit the city, baby, what you trying to do? Catch me out in Quirksville, big shout out to Doom. I'm looking at the floor price.